Hello, everyone, friends, colleagues, acquaintances, and Bill Gates' secret iPhone. Welcome to the 8th episode of the Communal Conversation. The ninth episode of the Communal Conversation. Whoops. I wrote 8th on the paper, but it actually is the 9th. I'm Yosef Zeldman, here with my guest, Michoel Nacson. More on Michoel in a minute. First, we have our sponsor mention, as always. This week's episode of the Communal Conversation is brought to you by, what do you know, our amazing sponsors over at EV Direct. No one saw that coming. EV Direct is the home of the Evolute, a smart, multi-user electric vehicle charging system for condominiums. Go electric or go dig for oil. This week's episode is also sponsored by Custom by Shara. Michoel, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for being here. This is great. I'm just gonna make sure I know. So last week's episode, I will admit, went a little bit over the allotted time. So I'm going to be very careful of the time this week.
Places to be, huh?
Yeah, I appreciate the feedback I got on the last episode from some people. It was constructive and well heard. So let's hope that we improve on this episode. So Michoel, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm happy to have you here. So you and I know each other through various things, but why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, what you're doing, what you've been?
So last year, 2020, I finished high school finally.
Thank God.
I shouldn't say that, but it was a good experience and I loved it and all that, but I finished.
Yeah, gotta get it over with.
Yeah. And I went to next year university. I didn't take that gap year that usually people take. I didn't find it like
you and I both didn't fall into it. For those who don't know, we both went to the same high school, or Chaim, which I've mentioned on the podcast before, and gap year in Israel is very, very prominent, but you and I both skip past that step.
Yeah. Like usually people go there to like party, like, you know what I mean?
Were you allowed to say that on the podcast?
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But people actually do use it for other like a lot of it's for religious growth for a lot of kids.
But from what I remember, actually, a lot of the teachers in Or Chaim said, Yosef, you don't need it. You're just going to waste a year. Just go to university. I was like, okay, well.
They didn't tell me that, but I did it. I told them myself.
Yeah.
And I went to York.
Same as me.
Same as you, yeah.
Yep.
And finished first year finally as well.
Yeah. How was that? You can be honest. Yeah.
Definitely tough. The online experience was like, I was used to it because of high school, but at the same time, I would rather meet people, meet the professors, and
especially for university, because that's definitely a jump from high school. So I was lucky enough to not go on gap year and experience my first year of university just fine. Also, you're younger than me, so the timeline's a little off. But that campus experience of meeting new people, talking to my professors, getting to know my classes, helped me pay attention a lot more, helped me do homework a lot better, and actually enjoy school. None of that this year. None of it. And you never got to experience that.
Never did, like when you're at home learning, it's like your bed is right there. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. The problem with the good thing about a campus is when you go to a campus, that's for learning, right? And when you come home, it's for home. That's fine. But now everything's in the same place. There's no division, right? Like between church and state, there's no division.
I learn on my bed. Like, if it's an early class, I'll most likely be in bed.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll put my camera on, but
no, I mean,
don't let anyone know that.
I'm sure you're not the only one to do that. In fact, I know you're not the only one to do that. Yeah, I use the same computer that I used to edit videos and play video games to go on Zoom classes with 3 monitors. So of course that never gets distracting. But yeah, okay. So online university. What are you studying in university right now?
Disaster and emergency management. The course that you said was for you.
Did I say it was spew?
Yeah.
Oh no! I didn't mean it.
We don't talk about that.
When did I say that? Probably like years
ago. At the park.
Oh, right. We saw each other a few weeks ago. That's funny. Thanks. Yeah. But I should eat my words because right now that's pretty important stuff in the world, I'd imagine.
That's fine. I mean, I liked when I read about the description and what I wanted previously.
What made you choose that from high school?
I don't know. I don't really know. I just really liked how I'm a hands-on person, and I think that job is hands-on.
Yeah.
So I liked being there and being with people, and I like dealing with stuff especially. And I mean, it could be a business side of it, or you're actually dealing with like hurricanes and all that type of stuff.
Right.
Disaster, which I learned, already in university, but.
So business side of that, interesting, because I would assume that mostly for disaster relief, it would be a lot of nonprofit work or governmental work. I don't know. Although nonprofit is still a business, for the record.
Yeah.
So they do have to make money, but. No, but disaster. I almost said Disaster Artist. That's a movie. Sorry. Have you seen that movie with James Franco, Seth Rogen?
Disaster Artist? No,
it's not that good.
Usually, I watch those, like especially with them two in it.
Yeah. Most of his movies, like Seth Rogen, I can't think of a
Pineapple Express. That one, you know of?
I remember. It's a lot of movies I found funny when I was like 14, and now the only movie I think that is good with Seth Rogen in it is like Steve Jobs, where he actually plays a serious role. But that's that's completely different. But that's besides the point. So disaster relief, interesting. Yeah. Okay, how much of your curriculum has now been dedicated to what's going on right here? Are you still learning mostly about other events, or is COVID been? Yeah, okay.
No, I only took one course this year related to my major.
That's what happens in first year of university. Yeah. I did that last year too. I can only take one psychology course.
I mean, yeah, and then next year's another one. Next year is even more than that. But yeah, we learned about 9/11, recent events right now with the pandemic.
Yeah.
And other previous events.
Probably hurricanes throughout the
all that. Yeah.
And your angle from it is what actually happened to communities and people and how to solve those things, right?
It's also to prevent before it happens.
Right.
Like there's a thing called an EOC.
Okay. Can you explain what that is?
It's like a center, right, for people like me, right? So when there's a disaster happening, they are immediately dispersed to where the location's at.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so there was a whole debate with 9/11 because he was actually in the tower, right? Or one of the
yikes.
Yeah, that's got taken down.
Yeah.
So they were wondering why did they put it in there? They should have put it near somewhere else or something like that. And I had to write a whole paper about it.
Interesting. Yeah. So the EOC was in one of the towers that went down. Yeah. Obviously that would it kind of makes sense. I mean, the Twin Towers at the time were the major modicum of business and trade and everything in the world. But you're right. With a little bit of foresight, maybe there should have been the EOC somewhere else. I mean, I assume that means a lot of people have to come from out of state or different localities, right?
Yeah. And then the teacher or the professor asked me, where would you put it? Right?
Right.
And I said, maybe I would put it at the bottom floor. Right?
What if the tower still collapse on it?
No, but then they have more chance of preventing as many casualties, I think.
I guess that's true, but if the building's falling, I'm pretty sure everything under it is going to get crushed.
Yeah. But they were in the middle.
Oh, they were literally in the middle of the building. Oh.
So weird. They didn't have enough time to decision make.
Okay,
right?
Were you not allowed to make an argument as to why the EOC should be in a different building? You just had to make somewhere. So you had to make the argument they had to be somewhere in the building.
Yeah.
Then yes, the bottom floor would make the most sense.
Where would it fit better, kind of?
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, you would hope so.
I'm not gonna say put it at the top.
No, that'd be a terrible idea. Okay, sorry. I thought you had to make an argument to put the EOC somewhere else in New York, but specifically the building that makes more sense. Yeah.
What was I going to say? Yeah. So in the class, I'm already done it. It was only first semester class. So
oh, really?
it wasn't that bad, to be honest.
I'd imagine.
The professor was also pretty chill, I guess, but he was also not on top of his work. You know, getting stuff done late, handing stuff late, or sending stuff back late.
Sometimes that works in the advantage of students, as in they can hand in things late because if the professor criticizes them, it's well, you're kind of a hypocrite, aren't you?
Yeah.
But then it gets annoying when you actually need grades and marks and you want to know what's going on.
No, but he sent a mark before he took all these breaks and all that. And
right.
Because we end up skipping an assignment that we're supposed to do in another quiz.
Really?
Yeah. I had 3 assignments the entire year.
Oh my god.
3 quizzes, and that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Huh. And are there a bunch of, because I know I'm in the psychology department at York,
Yeah.
and there's a ton of courses to take for second, third, and fourth year.
Yeah.
Are there a ton of course options under disaster relief, or?
I think it's more like health and safety as well, because I also have to go. Yeah,
You got other electives you got to take and credits you have to fill,
Yeah.
right?
I also have to take that as well because it deals with that as well.
Actually, it's funny you bring up 9/11. Oh, that's not don't take that sentence out of context, guys. Oh my God. But I was watching something today. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you've seen the original Spider-Man movie from 2002 with Tobey Maguire. Yeah, everyone loves that movie. It's great. They had to, so that movie was filmed and shot before 9/11 happened, right?
Yeah.
And they actually were doing a whole marketing campaign for the film. And there's this 2-minute deleted scene that was a trailer for the film where Spider-Man, there's this helicopter of bank robbers, and they take off from a bank and they're flying through the city, and suddenly something stops the helicopter and pulls them back.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man has caught them in a web in between the two towers. It's a big spider web, and it's got the helicopter in it.
I think I might have seen that.
Yeah, it was banned, and the Spider-Man marketing team was like, "Oh God, what did we do?" They had to pull it out. The film actually got delayed for 3 or 4 months, I think, because they had to edit the Twin Towers out of every single shot in the film.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, 9/11 killing 3,000 people is probably a little more important than a Spider-Man movie, but it's still interesting to know the other things that occurred from that point.
No, but on what I was saying about the business side, it's you know how there's always like where to go if a fire is in the building, right?
Right.
Fire
escape, fire alarms, yeah.
So I would also, that's the business side. I would, if you think about it, every company or every business needs that.
Yeah,
Needs a person,
you would hope so.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's also a good thing for me. It's a niche field, but I think it would be fit for me because
it's a niche that everyone still kind of requires, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know that course is actually getting taken out?
What?
Yeah.
The course you just took?
Yeah.
Why?
When I applied for it, that was the last year that they're offering that course to students.
For what purpose? Do you have
Because it's very niche, you know what I mean?
Oh my God! So not enough people are actually in your program.
Yeah.
But your program's still going to exist for a few years, or?
When am I supposed to graduate?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So they have to keep it running for a few more years.
I think they would do it for existing students, but not for new students. Yeah.
That's really interesting. Okay, so it's so niche that they're actually closing the department. So you just got in.
Just got in.
Oh
my
God.
That year.
That's so funny.
The next year, I think they weren't offering anymore.
That's like. Sorry, in terms of that's inconceivable in terms of my field, psychology. I mean, everyone goes into psychology if they don't know what they're doing. It's like, oh, I'll just do psychology. They end up flipping burgers, but wow.
No.
So you just made it in. Okay, interesting. Barely. Okay, so that's awesome. Okay, so you and I have known each other. So usually I'd say at the beginning of the show, but we got sidetracked for a good reason. But you and I know each other for quite a few years.
Yeah.
We initially met, I think, in 2016, working at this little day camp called Camp Lubavitch.
Already mentioned.
Yes, already name dropped. I was like, I'll pick that up. Yeah. But I had a whole previous episode talking with my friend Ezra Oppenheimer, mutual friend. You know Ezra as well, because he worked with us for a couple of years. His
brother as well.
His brother Ellie Oppenheimer. Yeah. So you and I worked together for 4 years at the same summer camp, doing very different jobs, obviously.
I don't know how. What was that? I don't know.
You were a counselor, but sometimes a shadow for a specific kid. Which
I was still helping out with the entire book.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow. So.
Yeah, you kept getting the short end of the stick all the time, which
that's how life is. You know.
You could have used that disaster relief training in that camp. I mean, really. But yeah. But yeah, no. So you and I had quite a few fun summers together. I think I definitely had a lot more fun than you because my job was quite less demanding.
Yeah.
But so you're.
I loved it though.
Yeah, I know you did.
Great experience. I loved the trip. Even though I say this and that, the whole experience was still overall good.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. Working at summer camps is really fun because aside from the kids, you got to really watch. Kids are mostly very fun to work with. They make you, energized and fun, and it's easy to entertain them.
Yeah.
And sorry, I just remember Ezra reading like exaggerated stories and trying to come up with songs and stuff. Oh.
One thing that I have to agree with,
Yeah.
with what you guys said,
Yeah.
in the last or the other podcast,
Episode 4, yeah.
that we kind of did feel like children in a way.
Yeah.
When we worked there, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were still teenagers, so we were kind of children, but you're right. You kind of have to get to a kid's level to really work with them and counsel them, whatever you want to say.
It's a bit more of a responsibility.
For sure.
Overall, like, we went on trips with them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We ate with them, and
we were with them like every day, 9 to 5, so 9 to 4. But yeah, so you get to know a lot of kids. You got to sort of be on their level and how to handle them, and and you could attest to me being I don't know. I kind of was like, I tried my best to be like everyone's counselor, and I tried to help out with the camp outside of my actual job, photography. Because if I was just doing pictures 99% of the time, like, I wouldn't really be a part of the camp. I'd just sort of be behind a screen. And I don't know.
You were involved better, like.
I tried, I tried my best to be involved with a lot of the camp activities and the trips and the counselors and you guys, obviously.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I definitely miss Camp Lubavitch, and who knows what the job market will look like this summer. We'll see.
They said they're open.
No, I know that. It's just I as a second-year psychology student, probably should be doing more things to help my career than work at a summer camp for under minimum wage again. But we won't even get into the wages there, because that's a whole discussion.
Yeah.
But Ezra and I already discussed that.
No, it's fine.
Working at a summer camp, you kind of know what you're signing up for financially. Even if there's some degradations, but we won't.
I would say for most of them actually.
Summer camps?
They pay like that.
Yeah. Summer camps are well known for ripping off teenagers, because it's kind of like summer camps corner teenagers in the job market, because you can't trust teenagers with, you started working there when you were, 14, 15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually.
So
wow.
You would not be able to go, I know it's been a while, right? Mm-hmm. But you would not be able to go get a job at McDonald's or Starbucks or Tim Hortons or Walmart.
Yeah.
But summer camps, they'll hire the teenagers, so they can kind of choose the wages, right? It's like they set them minimum wage at
That's why their market is at teenagers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they and adults. I mean, for the record, I mean, all those counselors that come in, they bring in a ton of adults. Early 20s. I don't know. They're adults. And they all do it for not a lot of money. Basically, more of a volunteer service for the kids.
They were also great as well.
Oh, they're amazing. Yeah, they always really handpick the right guys every year. And I still talk to a lot of them. I miss them dearly. God, the more I talk about it, the more I want to go back to camp. Man, it's not.
I still speak to a couple counselors actually.
Me too, dude.
Like junior.
Juniors. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who do you keep up with? Actually, you know what? No one will know. No one will know what you're talking about. But but you're saying that like some junior counselors that you were friends with, you still keep up with. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So I still keep up with some of them. I have trouble maintaining contact with a ton of people at the same time, but I do my best. But yeah, Ezra and I have been best friends since we were kindergarten. So
you got the podcast. You're a busy guy.
Oh yes, so busy with the hour podcast per week. But yes. So no, summer camp's definitely fun. I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be played when I inevitably go back this summer. It's just gonna be like, isn't I be going back? Every year,
Yosef Zeldman join you back.
You probably remember, like, every year I said, like, this is the last year I'm doing it. And then
I said that too. But
yep, and we both ended up there 4 years in a row. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Until COVID showed up, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Which finally
ended the streak. Oh, yeah.
I think our junior counselors, we may have had the longest, right?
Run as junior counselors?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I wasn't even a junior, but you mean, like, in terms of staff on the camp? Yeah. We went through, like, most of the staff. We outlasted most of the staff that were there first year to second year. That's or to fourth year. That's so funny. Yeah. If we went back now, it'd probably be like
everyone. Yeah. No.
Do you know what you're doing this summer? Or for the record, I'm not trying to recruit you because I don't even know if I'm going. But do you know what you're doing this summer?
I've applied, right, for the places. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Anything in particular you're trying to look for?
I don't know. Right now, I'm just trying to make what I could get, and then when it comes to the end of the 4 years of university,
then you apply that non-existent degree apparently to your actual field. Yeah, I get that.
And the only way, like, for co-op, I was thinking of doing that next year actually, and just focusing on making money right now.
I think that's smart. Second year is when co-op starts, especially the summer between second and third year, that's when co-op programs and internships become the most important. Man, I wonder who's between second and third year right now. You're right. First year summer is a good time to make some money, lay it down. Are you trying to move out or anything, or?
I mean, right now I have no expenses right now.
Yeah,
there's no point of moving out.
Yeah, no, I mean, look around here. I'm not going anywhere. But
I mean, when it comes to the time, and I feel comfortable, like, financially as well.
Good luck in Toronto, but I mean, that's
even the rent for, like, small places are crazy. Right?
Like the rent for this basement would be would be.
And this is bigger than, like,
apartments around here. Yeah, and those apartments cost a lot more than this basement, which. I don't understand it. I mean, I do. That's how real estate works. But I
mean, I could do it right now, but
no. If you don't feel the need to, there's you shouldn't push yourself towards it.
As well as, like, the car. You know what I mean?
That's definitely that's a way better investment than something like an apartment, I'd say, because at least with a car you get a lot more chance for independence all around if you're allowed to drive anywhere without the cops pulling you over and asking you, why are you leaving your home? But
maybe I'm just, like, childish, but, like, I don't know if I would buy one now, to be honest.
Okay.
Because there's too many things that go into it that I don't know if I could.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not childish. That's practical planning. That's fine.
No, like, a lot of people are more like, I got a car at this age, I got a car at that age, Right?
Yeah, with Daddy's credit card. But
I'm doing it all myself.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people who get cars at early ages usually get them not through their own means, which is fine. Yeah. I'm not knocking anyone for the way that they live. That's awesome.
You do you.
You do exactly whatever boats your float. But So okay, well, you're still figuring out your priorities. This makes sense. You're 19. You've still got a lot to figure out.
I mean, like, I've already. At 19, I'm, like, thinking, like, oh my gosh, there's so many, like, decisions that I had to make, and I'm like,
the thing is, you kind of don't. You have plenty of time. I mean, I'm only 1 year older than you, so I obviously I'm not, like, aged in wisdom, even though I have the big beard. We keep selling this idea to kids that they have to have their entire life figured out.
No,
at 19, 20, 21. I know you don't feel that necessarily, but it's good to have a baseline of where you want to go and what career you want to go into, and you definitely have that. But in terms of actually planning, I will make this much income so I can move out at this point and then buy these groceries, and like, life is never that plannable, honestly. Things go wrong all the time. Things are different. Like,
things change.
Yeah, things change.
Yeah. No, but I thought, like, applying to university and choosing which course I was going to take, I thought that was, like, a big like, decision, right?
Right, yeah.
But then, like, now when I moved on, like, past it, there are so many other things that I...
because your brain alters every time to a new situation, so you feel like when that new situation, like picking courses, right? This is a phenomenon in psychology. Imagine a stop sign directly in front of your face.
Yeah.
Okay, so that stop sign is the only world you know because it is literally directly in front of your face. It's a stop sign that's right here. However, if you take, like, 10 steps back, that stop sign becomes a lot smaller and becomes a lot less perspective, right? You can see the whole picture. You can see the street and the road and the cars. So what happens is when we're in new situations, that stop sign is everything in front of us. We don't realize if you take 10 steps back, it's very small in the big scheme of things.
Yeah.
Right? So that situation of you choosing university courses is the stop sign right in that moment, but then you take a few steps back and you're like, oh.
And then there's another one.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the most minor things you're probably going to do in your life in terms of choosing university courses. Yeah. But that's how it works.
No, like, especially financially, like, all these different like, accounts and all these different cards and stuff
hoops you're gonna have to jump through. Yeah,
and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Have you looked into investing in anything, or because I have that written down here on my pad, but yeah. What are you thinking?
I haven't opened up an investing account now, but
right.
I'm planning on doing it, and I've done or I'm doing a little bit of research now. So
Okay.
when it comes to that time,
Yeah.
I'll be more like easy for me to adapt or to think about what to invest in, what to not.
Yeah, that's smart. I think right now you have a big I don't know. So I've been doing this anyway. You and I both took the same business course in high school, and I think it sparked both of our interests in this sort of stuff. Yeah. I've been in the stock market since I was 14 because I have a grandfather who got me into it very early.
Invest, yeah?
Yeah, he's fantastic, and he's definitely listening right now. The way I invest is mostly from what my grandfather's given me in very stable companies like Disney, Apple, Nintendo, Land, and then a couple other minor things. But I'm not. So there's a difference between trading stocks in terms of buying stocks and letting them sit for a while and day trading. Never do day trading. Oh my god! You know what day trading is, right?
Holding.
Holding is the best thing to do because for those who don't know, day trading stocks is basically gambling. You could lose all your money in a second. Like
when you put your money into that investing account, you automatically you lost it kind of in a way.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you do have those insane stories. So then you have what I want to call the GameStop bubble phenomenon. So I'm sure you heard about the stocks going up with GameStop and
who hasn't?
Going through the roof. Right, exactly. But that's my problem. That was broadcasted around the world, and suddenly you have a bunch of people who think they know exactly how the stock market works simply by reading an article about GameStop stock.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you that I'm sort of some sort of genius guru on the stock market, but I certainly will not tell you I know everything based off of what happened to GameStop.
Yeah.
Like, you have a lot of people who are coming into the market new and being like, oh, so if I put $10, I get $500 back? Whoa, that's crazy. How do I do that? Nope, not that simple.
It's not that easy.
Not that simple. And then you have a lot of people falling into false ideas and maybe even spending some money where they shouldn't.
It's like at that point with the GameStop, I was like, oh my gosh, as well. You know, like what you said, like, oh, I want to start investing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It got it on everyone's brains all of a sudden.
But then when I asked around and I asked like family and all that do investing, they're like, don't fall into it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because that is day trading, for the record.
Yeah.
Well, that actually is called short selling stocks, where you pump a bunch of money into a stock to sell it later, which is pretty... It's kind of funny on one end that a bunch of people on the internet just completely made tens of thousands, millions of dollars.
I mean, I would want to do that as well, but I don't know, like when to take out, you know.
It's dangerous. It's definitely dangerous. I mean, I'm not going to tell you can't do it, but I wouldn't recommend that you would do it. And
definitely a risk.
Yeah, for no question. And then you get into cryptocurrencies, which is a whole other thing right now. Yeah. So actually, to mention my grandfather again, usually since he is older, he's my grandfather, so he's quite a bit older than me. Yeah. In terms of computers and technology, I'm usually a little more knowledgeable than him with that sort of stuff, even though he was doing the internet way before I was even born. Now with current day computers, I'm usually a little more knowledgeable. So here's the thing. He's been intense studying on NFTs for 3 weeks. You know what NFTs are?
For those people who don't know.
You know what they are, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So an NFT is a non-fungible token. That's what it's called. It is an encrypted digital art piece or a digital artifact, I guess. Honestly, most people have probably heard of them at this point. Why? Do you have a better way of explaining it, or?
No, actually.
Oh, okay.
I think you said it well, but
yes,
there are many examples now.
Yeah.
People.
What's some of the crazy stuff you've seen as an NFTs?
I don't know about NFT, but you know the thing Elongate? You know that new thing?
No.
The new token?
Elongate? What's that?
So Elon Musk, right?
Yeah.
CEO, right, of Tesla?
Yeah.
He posted on Twitter something, right? And he said, if you ever say this, call it Elongate. So then people, as a joke, they started a new token.
They started a new currency?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like a cryptocurrency called Elongate. And then
Elongate is a word, for the record.
Yeah. And then everyone on TikTok are promoting invest, put your money in it, put your money in it, put your money. You invest 1,000 now, you will get 300,000 later. I'm like,
yeah,
come on.
Internet culture dictating markets can be.
And then I watched this video. This guy basically said, don't do it. They're gonna pump the price up, and then they're
all going to
theirs,
sell, and then everyone else's value. Of course,
all your money.
that's what happened with GameStop essentially, and with other companies like AMC. And NFTs are this crazy new. I don't know how to. It's a movement or a phenomenon, but basically this idea that you can digitally own the actual creation or original creation of something on the internet. Like someone owns the first tweet. They spent $69 million buying the first tweet digitally. For the record, the CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, donated all that money to relief funds for COVID. So, he did just walk away with $69 million for his first tweet. But still insane that someone would pay that amount of money just to say, I have the original first tweet. In my mind, it's like, I'm going to download the image from my computer. Now I have the first tweet, but people are like, no, I want to have the original one. My grandfather knows a ton about this stuff. He's trying to get into it a little. Oh, yeah. I'm wondering how much of a bubble it's going to be, though, how long it's actually going to last. But we can get a little more into that after the mid-break sponsor, which I will now drop right here. So, in addition to EV Direct, this week's episode of the Communal Conversation is sponsored by our good friends over at Custom by Shara. Custom by Shara. Looking for a gift to give your friend, family, or significant other? Want something unique and personalized for any occasion? Custom by Shara delivers custom, complex, hand-drawn portraits of anyone and everyone at affordable costs. Check out at Custom by Shara on Instagram to place your order and tell them we sent you. Once again, check out at
Custom by Shara
on Instagram to tell them we sent you to order your custom portrait today.
I think I will, actually.
Okay, awesome. Well, that was the first time I actually assaulted a guest and you just said the name correctly. Usually people are like, custom by Shara. Yeah, you got it. All right, you're on top of this. Oh yeah. communal listener.
I did a whole thing before I came here.
Oh, really?
Like watching all the podcasts, reviewing, like what to say.
Figuring out your strategy. Yeah, I would not recommend that. So NFTs are this whole new marketplace medium, which I personally listen. I'm not one to knock anyone for collecting things. Once again, look around. I have no ground to stand on criticizing people for collecting things.
Yeah.
But I don't fully comprehend this need for digital. When I collect action figures or Lego, it's something I can actually touch tangibly and own.
Yeah.
But digitally, it's numbers, it's words on a computer screen. I guess if it's that important to people, but you bring up.
What were you thinking? An example of?
Oh, for an NFT. I mean, for example, there's this terrible, awful, cancerous page called SixBuzz. I'm sure you've probably heard of it. Okay, it's not a news outlet. They say they're a news outlet, but they're not. It's a Toronto-based page. It's been around for many years. Yeah. What they used to do was just post about crazy things in Toronto, like fights and like street races and drag races and like, yo, check out this waste man thing. What you think of that? And like new rappers and everything. But now they started becoming a news organization, which doesn't make any sense. They're not a news organization, and they started posting a bunch of political stuff, and it got really gross and ugly. But the reason I bring them up is because they're very popular. I think they have over 11 million followers on Instagram, and like most people in Toronto know what SixBuzz is, especially if you get downtown. Pretty much everyone knows what SixBuzz is. But they made 2 NFTs. They made just digital art pieces. Like one was the CN Tower twisted into a bunch of knots, and then there was a bunch of bees, and it said SixBuzz. Someone bought it for $2.2 million.
And they don't actually have possession of it?
I mean, they digitally have possession of it. Yeah, no, it's not like they bought a cool die. I mean, even then, spending $2 million on that's stupid. Yeah. But no, it's literally like a 3D animation of a CN Tower being twisted and then a bunch of bees. Someone bought that for $2.2 million. Wow. I don't know, man. I don't understand it. I actually saw another one. Someone, what was it? This creator. Named Beeple, who's a popular 3D artist creator. He makes a bunch of cool art. Yeah. He put together a compilation of 50 of his art pieces, meaning he didn't actually make anything new. He literally just put like a big square frame of like 50 different ones.
Yeah.
It sold for like a few $1 million. It just...
And why did they buy it?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Just to have...
Just to say, I own this. Like, I guess, I don't know. Let's think of...
Will it be worth way more in a couple of years?
That's the thing. I don't think so. I don't think these things are going, you know what? Okay. I'm going to get into really sub-currency here. This is something I learned about recently, which is absolutely insane. I cannot believe this exists. So I'll be honest, I need to do a little more research into it. But there's a popular game on the internet, very popular among small children, called Roblox.
Heard of it.
It is a very
Used to play it.
yeah. When I was very small, I used to play it. But it's basically if you put Lego and Minecraft together and then made it 10 times worse than both of those things. It's an online video game where kids have these like little avatars and you can play a bunch of games, and it's one of these stupid 3D places.
Fun as a kid, but as you grow older, it's not fun.
Yeah, obviously. But people are really into it. There's whole YouTube markets for it, and they have a currency called Robux, right? Which is, I know. But something like Fortnite, which is V-Bucks to buy skins.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this on this podcast. But Roblox has Robux.
I've never.
Which is so you like in different shops in the game you can purchase like VIP ranks or special costumes or items, whatever it might be. So there's a new movement on Roblox. You think that's crazy? There's a new movement on Roblox where Robux is becoming its own sub-cryptocurrency because people are making real estate in Roblox and selling it. Let me explain. For example, someone right now spent quite a few $1,000s to own the White House in Roblox.
That doesn't.
Someone owns the White House in Roblox, paid a butt ton of money for it, and they can say that I own the White House in Roblox. And there's a bunch of real estate stuff being made of like different trademarks from around the world and people selling them. And that White House, ever since it was sold, has been going up in value in real estate.
Really?
Yes.
So people actually want to buy it from
yes,
that guy?
They do.
For more money than...
Yes. I don't know what world we've created, man. We are living in some messed up timeline. Like
you could do a lot more with that in the real life than
what you mean actual real estate and landmarks? Why would you need that? I just want to play little Lego game online. I should do it with Lego City, dude. I should start selling the buildings in Lego City for. Oh,
you should.
That's smart. But no, it's insane. I have to look into it a little more, and it seems like a very niche part of the internet. But the fact that even exists as a market where tens of thousands of dollars are in this market.
Oh my gosh. That's too much.
It is. It really is. I don't understand. But
I mean, with the cryptocurrencies, I'm like, okay, fine. But with this now, especially with the Roblox, like, come on. What are people thinking sometimes?
I'm sure most people listening to this right now are like, what the hell are you even talking about? But seriously, look it up. This is a real thing. I didn't even know. Like, yeah, exactly. I found out through a friend of a friend, and I was absolutely baffled when I found out.
I'm going to go on Minecraft and actually buy one block.
Yeah, one single block, and say, you can own this one block.
One grass block.
Yeah.
Near the water.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, perfect. Like coast side view of the grass block. Yeah, you could get a lot of money for that.
Oh my gosh.
It's one of those things.
How does it even work?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Where do you...
There's an underground market on Roblox, and the thing with NFTs is that they're encrypted, right? Like they have an encrypted code.
Yeah. That
means if you have this code, which can't be duplicated, can't be funded, you have that thing. You have it. You own the initial.
Yeah.
So it's the same with Roblox. Whoever sells up the real estate gets it. There's a word for it in the cryptocurrency world. Minted. And it's certified as its own thing, and then it's sold on this underground market. I can't believe I'm even saying this is a real thing. You know what? If people want to spend their money...
Maybe I should get into Roblox.
Get into Roblox now. Yeah, maybe. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. I don't know what world we've created, but you probably will not get this reference. But I think the timeline where that shoe actually hit George Bush in the face is where the world turned out okay. There was a press conference in the early 2000s where someone threw a shoe at George Bush and he like ducked like Batman. Yeah. If that hit him in the face, I think the world would have been fine now. I don't think we would have any of this. That alternate timeline out there somewhere. Yeah. So Roblox real estate. But to get to more,
switch topic, man.
I know. It's hard to even comprehend this, but cryptocurrencies overall do interest me a lot.
Yeah.
It's something I don't know a ton about. I do need to do more research into, but I like this idea of a currency that cannot be controlled by government. It can't be inflated. You can't, like, for example, Mr. Joseph R. Biden just printed $2 trillion out of nowhere. That money does not exist, but he printed it. You can't do that with Bitcoin because it's not pumped by any Federal Reserve or anything. It's its own currency, and it self-dictates itself. So you can't actually, like I said, you can't flood the market with more Bitcoin. And the reason
Bitcoin has been up and down.
It's been up and down and all around for a long time. I remember first hearing about it in like 2013, 2014. I was like in its high still. And
when you bought it when it was at the low and you keep it now, man, you are.
There are a lot of Bitcoin millionaires out there.
Yeah,
exactly. I didn't buy anything, but with those Bitcoin millionaires out there are definitely lucky people.
You don't know the future. That's the thing with investing.
That's any investment. Is like you can never know for sure. One of the smartest things I've ever seen actually in a film. I don't know if you've seen Back to the Future 2. But okay, so you know Biff, who's the villainous character, he steals a sports almanac for the future and bets everything on all these games because he knows everything. It's smart as all hell, man. If I were a time traveler.
And then when it went back to what he was later on, he was like a millionaire or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he owned an entire city. Yeah. And that's a great movie. But I'm saying you're right. Like no one's a future teller with these sort of things, so you never know what's going to blow up, what's going to be the big thing, what isn't.
One story, actually, funny story.
Yeah.
My dad actually, he told me that he worked with someone that invested into Amazon when he was at very low.
How low are we talking?
I think a couple dollars.
What?
Yeah.
Those shares are like over $2,000 now, each. Holy! Yeah.
He invested it when he was then, and then I think he retired at like 50 years old or something like that, and now he's a millionaire.
Wow. Yeah. Retired at 50. Well, I mean, investing in Amazon
usually like
$2.
65, you know? People retire, but this guy did it early. Like,
oh, wow.
That's what I'm hoping, you know?
Yeah. If you invested in Apple in the early 90s, you would be a millionaire right now. Like
what was that? Like 0 point something?
Well, there was a point where it was at $10 on the market, and now they're at 100 and... Well, actually, technically, it jumped from $10 in the 80s or 90s, whenever Apple became a publicly traded company, to $405 per share. And then they did a stock split, so now those shares are different. I don't know if you know how splits work, but so now the shares are at 135, but that's post-split. So if you bought $10 of Apple, you'd have right now 4 shares worth 100
worth 100.
34 each.
Yeah.
And if you multiply that by like any small number, even 2, you make a lot of profit. You have millionaires who are out there with just so yeah, that's but once again, as we talk more about millionaires and people who made it in the market, we make it seem like this thing where it's like, oh, so I just have to do that and that, and then suddenly I'm a quadrillionaire. Not really how it works.
Not that easy.
Usually the safest bet is mutual funds. If you put your money in mutual funds over time, that's really, really smart.
That's what I was actually gonna say.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to start off young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and just hold it as long as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And then I went to the bank, actually, and I wanted to open up a TFSA. I don't know if you know.
Yeah. You want to explain for the audience what that is?
It's like a thing that you set up with the government. No, not the. I meant the bank.
The bank, yeah.
The bank, yeah. You set it up with the bank, and is that no? That I think there's a certain limit of how much you could put into it.
Yeah.
I think for me it was like
it's an investment savings account essentially, right?
I think it was under 10 grand. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Right. Because over
and
10
you only
grand.
could put that for when you're that age, and then when you keep going next year, you put in more.
The limit goes out. Yeah. Right. That makes sense. Okay.
And then there's a subcategory, I guess you'd say, for a mutual fund, which is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
It's either you could let the bank handle like all these the trading and all that, or you do it.
Right.
No, that's a separate thing, right?
You do it. That wouldn't be a mutual fund, because usually when you invest in a mutual fund, what happens is that is a large amount of companies invested over different periods of time. That's why mutual funds are so strong, is because they're constantly changing and they're diversifying into their own. You're basically investing in other people who know how to invest in other things.
Yeah.
And mutual funds, I mean, if
I would recommend it.
Yeah.
Sorry to.
I'm with you.
I would recommend it, especially if you don't know that much about stocks and all that.
Yes.
You don't know.
I agree.
Knowledge.
If you don't know what stocks to pick and everything,
I think you should let the bank handle it.
Honestly, if you put $100 in a mutual fund every month, starting now for the rest of your life, you'll be like a millionaire.
Really?
Seriously, mutual funds they're the ones the things that always grow. Huh?
There's a calculator.
Oh, really?
That I checked it, and there's a million.
Well, even then could change, but so mutual funds are definitely something I'd recommend to anyone, honestly. And you make a good point about because the stock market's kind of big and scary, and you're not sure where to put your money, what'll crash, what won't. So something like a mutual fund is really smart for strong investment.
Like I know I know to put it, let's say in AI or something like that, or oil, these industries.
Yes, exactly.
I know which one to put it in.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
which companies are the ones that are going to fail, which ones are going to be on top, which ones won't.
I mean, we learned it in business.
Yeah.
The business class, how to read the different sheets, right?
Yes.
The balance sheet and all that.
Yeah, right. Operating above cost. Like, for example, Netflix has not made profit in a very, very long time. We learned about this, is that they've actually been losing money for years on years.
Uber as well,
yeah. Uber's a big example of losing money year on year.
But they actually, I saw that they recently, I think they've made now.
Really?
Or their projections is that they're going to
Uber would make sense. Netflix not so much, because every single dollar they get, they basically put back into making really expensive shows and content and stream upkeep. And now with Disney Plus taking a little bit of Netflix's market share, it's definitely a lot more competitive as a space.
For Uber, I think there's only one other, maybe two other
alternative services that are basically doing what they're doing. Lyft and I think rideshare, maybe.
I think Lyft was 30%.
30% of the market share for
maybe you could correct me on that.
No, I have no idea. I genuinely don't know.
But the majority was Uber, because they got their hands in so many different things that they're just out performing each one.
And they sort of started the big industry trend.
Yeah.
Uber definitely owns a corner majority share on the market, for no question. Even though that company's gotten into quite a bit of controversy, but no press is bad press for corporations. So yeah, and I think in terms of cryptocurrency, you're gonna see an outgrowth of a lot of people buying into this stuff, because
I think it's mostly because of the hype.
Well, it is that they're definitely that's definitely an element of it. Is so many people talking about it all the time and then pushing it out
on Twitter and all these Twitter
apps, TikTok, Instagram. Everyone's talking about cryptocurrency. So obviously, the more something's talked about, the more people are going to invest into it. On the other hand, I think the people who are thinking a little more about it and who don't just emotionally jump on things they hear about, but they're actually thinking about weighing the costs and benefits of something like cryptocurrency. Yeah. They're looking at what's going on in the world. How every government through this pandemic has printed trillions of dollars that don't exist, right? Like Joe Biden as a president. I don't want to get super political, so I'm literally just going to state you a fact.
Yeah, okay.
Joe Biden, in his first 3 months of presidency, has proposed $10 trillion on top of the already federal budget. $10 trillion he wants to spend. That money does not exist. It will not exist until it's printed, which hyperinflates the rest of the currency, and then in a couple of years, no one in their right mind buys a U.S. bond, and the economy is completely screwed. So with people seeing something like that, that's the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar is the gold standard currency in the entire world, aside from the British pound. Yeah. And so people are looking at that and I do own a lot of things, like stocks are tied to the U.S. dollar, right? The stock market is completely tied to the U.S. dollar. So people are thinking, if this currency is not going to be worth much, maybe I should invest in another currency that isn't controlled by government. And that's where stuff like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, MoonSafe, and all this other stuff gets...
Dogecoin, not again. That's another one.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, my friends made hundreds of dollars on Dogecoin because there was last week or 2 weeks ago, it took a big market upswing, and then it went back down again. But exactly. Right. This is the nature of things. Right. Yeah. Really, if the stock market and cryptocurrency was so easy that everything was constantly going up, everyone would be a millionaire. But as far as I know, we're not all millionaires. So even though you kind of got to be to live in Toronto. But
with the house and working out.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I mean, real estate around the world in general for years and years and years has been going up in cost.
No, but especially here.
Especially in Toronto. Yeah. You have a lot of people who are moving in, who are really big fans of the city. It's big, it's industrial, it's popular. There's a lot of jobs here, a lot of communities here, a lot of space. So the more people want to move in, the more demand's going to go up. What are you talking about? What vaccines? Where? I don't see any of them. We don't know. Yeah, COVID relief in Canada is definitely
this whole another lockdown. I don't know if I could handle anymore.
I've
been trying to get busy, but
it's hard because you're so limited in terms of actually doing things. I talked about this with Chaya a couple episodes ago. The new lockdown rules definitely. I mean, I think out of any country in the world, we're still in the harshest lockdown, except maybe India because they're kind of on fire right now. But we still have extremely harsh lockdown rules. And honestly, if you want to put the blame somewhere, it's not on Doug Ford, who's the premier of Ontario. So for those who don't live around here, just like the U.S. has states, Canada has provinces. Mm-hmm. We have 11, 13,
11.
I'm American, so I'm a little detached. We have at least 11 provinces.
Somewhere.
And just like how each of the 50 states has a governor, each of the provinces has a premier. It's the same function. So Doug Ford, Dougie G, is a conservative. He's the premier here, and he's been getting a lot of flack. And you know what? He deserves some criticism over his handling of the pandemic. There's definitely a lot of stuff that can be blamed on him. But really, if you actually want to look at where the blame is, it's with Justin Trudeau. It's with the overall federal government in completely wasting billions of Canadian dollars into a vaccine that we never got. I don't know if you know this, but the original contract that Justin Trudeau signed for a vaccine. Do you know anything about how this happened initially? Why we're so behind on vaccines?
Not initially, no.
Yeah. No. So Justin Trudeau, in his eminent hair-flowing wisdom, decided that it would be a great idea. He thought early on, when the vaccine race was still on, when no vaccine had actually fully been developed yet, he thought, this pandemic came from China. So let's invest in China, because they'll probably develop the best cure for it, since it came from them. Because if anything we've learned, we should definitely trust the Chinese government from all things. So he invested billions of dollars, literally billions, into this Chinese vaccine, gave it to the Chinese government, and then what happened was they had a bit of a conflict of interest because Canada is currently harboring a Chinese refugee who is being who the CCP, the Communist Party of China, is seeking out and wants as a political prisoner and probably to kill them, let's be honest. Canada's holding her, though, because, don't want her to be murdered. And so China was like, you're holding this person? That's great. We're not going to give you any vaccines at all. So they kept the money and ran, and they haven't given us a single vaccine from China. And that's why we were so far behind the initial push, because we put all of our money into a vaccine program that never ended up becoming anything. Good, just slow clap for Justin Trudeau, man. Good job.
All right.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So as we mentioned, our country in particular is very behind on vaccines, especially compared to the rest of the world. Yeah. I mean,
and bookings are crazy as well.
Yeah. You get
many people want it, but the supply is not there.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot more demand than supply right now. Exactly. You have a shortage, not a surplus. In the U.S., in some places, you have a surplus. Literally, you have states that have millions of vaccines, and everyone's already taken the vaccine. It's crazy. The U.S. is putting out 3 million vaccines a day.
I think countries like Israel, right?
Yeah, they pretty much already have most of their population vaccinated at this point. They did months ago, honestly. Yeah. They've been very, very on top of the pandemic, but Canada's sorely lagging behind.
Are you planning on taking
it? Yeah, I have no problem with taking it. I'm not in a rush to take it because I'm not at a higher risk level, but when it becomes available to me, sure, I'll take it. Yeah, I have no problem with it. That gets into the whole anti-vax discussion has been very much
protests.
Yeah, exactly. Which one? The one in London or the one that was around here?
Here, I think.
It was a while ago, right? Yeah. So this whole discussion of anti-vax has become.
Or the one recently.
Was there one more recently? Maybe I didn't see it.
I don't know. I saw online as well.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so anti-vax has always been a point of controversy for years. That's the thing. Anti-vax is not a new thing. You have parents who refuse to give their kids the polio vaccine, and you have a polio outbreak in a little community, even though polio wasn't seen in the US for 50 years, right? Yeah. Same with the measles or the mumps or certain flu vaccines, which parents refused. There was this big study in 1990 that said that vaccines cause autism. It was completely falsified. I think 5 out of the 6 people who wrote it came out later and said they completely falsified the data and lied for their findings. And some people still believe it because, the government made them say that it's not true, but it actually is true. That means it is true because people will do anything for confirmation bias.
Just watch the Family Guy. So.
Yeah.
Remember
They've ragged on it plenty of times.
With Stewie not getting vaccinated or something.
Yeah.
And then the whole outbreak.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, no, that show tries to parallel real world. I think South Park does it a lot better, but we won't argue over our adult animated TV shows. But no, so the anti-vax discussion has sparked the new, but I will say I think it's a little different now than it was before. I think people who don't want to take the COVID vaccine, I wouldn't even label them all as anti-vaxxers. I would say if you're someone who is super anti the vaccination, anti other people getting it, telling other people not to get it, then you're an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind other people getting it and you don't really want to take it, that's fine. Like I honestly I don't think we should force anyone to take it.
With these protests and the signs,
that's a little much, honestly. Listen, people can. Free speech. People can. I mean, we're in Canada, so semi-free speech. But people can say whatever they want, protest whatever they want. I'm totally pro that. But in terms of actual anti-vax, like denying the vaccine, I don't know. It's a lot more complicated now, especially because we did develop this vaccine in an incredibly short amount of time. Yeah. We do not have longitudinal data on this vaccine. We don't know what it does to people long term. I mean, considering the context of the vaccine, it's probably not going to do nothing to people long term. But people, I spoke like a Texan there for a second, probably won't do nothing to people long term. Oh yeah, that wasn't Texan. Oh my God, it was on. I'm geographically all over the place. But but people are concerned that in a year everyone will grow a third arm or something.
On TikTok, especially that app. Oh my God.
Can we address TikTok for a second?
Yeah.
Because I think definitely our last subject we should talk about TikTok for a little because I've been
promoting
it's not them, no. It's people on the platform. Yeah. The problem is, it's one of those... So my first episode of this podcast with my friend Bryce, we talked about YouTube and the sort of really gross nature of children's content on YouTube and how it gets spread around and all these people saying these things. But the thing is, it's not something you can inherently blame YouTube for because it's just people on the platform creating things and algorithms sending that content to people that enjoy it.
I actually did another assignment on that.
Yeah, no. So it's the same way TikTok works. Yeah. It's a platform where people can basically do or say anything within the confines of certain rules, and then an algorithm will predict what you want to see and send you what you want to see. So it's not TikTok inherently promoting certain things over the other.
It's the users. Yeah.
It's the users and it's the AI, right? Now that being said, I think TikTok has a responsibility to get rid of certain platform content on the platform, but that's really like gruesome stuff or sexual assault or stuff like that. Like obviously that should be getting rid of. But in terms of people saying stupid things, I'm pretty pro free speech. Honestly, my view on people saying stupid things or misleading information is good. Let them say it. Then we know who's stupid. we know what the bad ideas are. But the problem with a platform like TikTok is how fast the stuff spreads.
Yeah, it also influences people as well.
Yeah.
I don't know about. I know about a lot of social media companies.
Yeah.
The users on it, there's a thing that said they help spread COVID, right?
The people on social media?
Yeah, because they're passing false information on it.
Oh, okay, right.
They're saying you shouldn't social distance, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't take that, right? And people are believing it. Especially when it comes from high, not high
people with high followings, right?
High followings, yeah.
Because people automatically assume, people follow this guy in tens of thousands or millions, and it's so he must be smart. Yeah. I will never understand that. Listen, I don't care how many followers you have. It can be 2, it can be 2 million. If you're saying something dumb, I'm not going to believe you. Cardi B is one of the most prominent rap artists in the U.S.
Yeah.
Right? She has a big following. Doesn't mean I'm going to listen to what she's saying. Yeah, but
I mean, listen to music, but not what you're saying.
no. I don't even do that.
Different taste, you know what I mean?
Whatever people want to listen to, I have no problem with. Just don't put it in my ears, please. TikTok is definitely this whole new phenomenon of because social media has been around for a long time. Stuff like Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook has been around for years, but TikTok seems to take it to a whole new level in terms of attention grabbing. I don't know. So TikTok is not a platform I know a ton about. But I'll be honest, the more people I talk to in terms of how do I grow my podcast, how do I grow my brand, how do I grow this channel, everyone's telling me use TikTok, make little funny videos and link your YouTube channel. And people keep telling me to get into it. And it's like,
I mean, it does help.
They have a point. Yeah.
Yeah, it does help promote.
It really does, because it's such a lightning fast platform that so many people are on all the time. The problem is I don't want to start, man. I just don't like. Morally, I'm opposed to using TikTok because
I mean, I have it.
Yeah, I don't even have it. Like I never downloaded it because first of all, there are probably things on it that I will like, and therefore I will fall into it and use TikTok all the time, and that's exactly what I don't. I already spend too much time on Instagram, right? I don't need to spend more time on another social media platform. But also, it's just such a cesspool of. Now, listen, let's take a step back for a second and say that like not all TikTok is bad. There are plenty of people who do great things on TikTok. Very funny things that I've seen through Instagram.
Sure.
Very funny comedic people on TikTok, and even people promoting.
And it also helps a lot of people as well.
Yeah, it helps a lot of people. I mean, you have people going out for charities and promoting these things that get through algorithms. So I do not want to say TikTok is all bad as a platform, but there's definitely an undercurrent of some pretty bad stuff. I mean, I don't know. Mm-hmm.
It helps spread like a lot of positivity, but it also the negativity.
That's free speech. That's exactly the problem with free speech, is that everyone can say whatever they want, and sometimes it'll be good and sometimes it'll be bad.
Going back to the coins and all that.
Yeah, right.
People on there were promoting, as I said, remember
Elongate, yeah.
Yeah, they're promoting it like crazy, saying you should buy it. You invest right now, you'll be worth $1 million in a couple of years. And someone came out saying that they were actually paid.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's social engineering right there.
They were actually paid to say that.
Right. So
they're trying to influence other people who don't know much about it.
Yeah.
To invest into the thing.
That's the perfect scam, for the record. It's a perfect Ponzi scheme. But basically, you have a bunch of people that are being paid to advertise something, and those people have followings, right? And so they get a bunch of people to enter the market so they can sell all their stocks. All those people lose, and they get away with a ton of money.
The thing is with these...
especially post GameStop, for the record, stocks are on people's minds a lot more, so yeah.
The thing I think with these cryptocurrencies and these coins and all that, it's a quick way of making cash in a way.
It can be, but you can lose a lot of money doing it, yeah.
If it's well promoted like this, right?
You can be a short-term way,
You could make a couple bucks there and then quickly take it out.
It's scary, though.
But then I saw actually.
Yeah.
It was at 0.0000 something like that.
Yeah.
7. And then it went all the way to 4.
Yeah.
And then people that invested at 7
lost. This is the gambling nature of cryptocurrency, and this is like short selling stocks, like we've talked about. What you're talking about with this elongate's elongate's a word, so it keeps getting in my. There's a superhero named Elongated Man, so that keeps getting in my head. So that is literally the GameStop thing, telling everyone to buy this thing, take a bunch of money out of the market, and everyone on the bottom loses.
Where did it start from? Twitter?
Reddit usually, like these post investment, these little investment boards, or honestly, sometimes it's not even Reddit. It's corporations, it's hedge funds that know what they're doing. It's not just people on the internet. It's people that know a lot about the market, and they know how to social engineer and influence things, and they take advantage of the lower consumers.
It was like GameStop and AMC or something.
Yeah, and I think a couple other smaller companies. But yeah, okay. So we did a deep dive into the market today, into very weird sides of the market. But definitely an interesting conversation. There's a lot of stuff to be talking about. I can't believe that Roblox thing is real. It's insane. I have to do more research on it because I want to know more. But the fact that the White House in Roblox is actually gaining financial value, just 2021, man. I don't know.
Maybe I'm going back in.
Yeah, you got to jump into the Roblox market. Seriously, I know we've been talking about gambling and scary, but that's a safe bet.
The hype is there. Right now.
Really.
Go there. You might as well.
Okay. Well, with that, do you have any closing statements? Anything you want to say?
Shit. you having me on.
Oh, of course. I'm very, very happy to see you. It's been a couple years since we've been in the same institution, but now we're on the same institution. It's just online.
I like the idea of making a podcast.
Thank you.
You're giving like people like me, like say and like to be able to express themselves about stuff that are happening on like in our daily lives.
Yeah, and I learn a lot. I learn a ton from the guests that I have on. That's really like the main venture is I learn a lot, and I hope the audience learns a lot too. And with that being said, we're going to close out the 9th episode of the Communal Conversation. Should I put your Instagram? Do you want to leave that out or?
No, if you want.
Okay, so I'm gonna drop his Instagram on screen and below. And also you should be following the Communal Conversation on Instagram. That is a page that you should be following. If you are listening to this, thank you. If you are listening to this on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button so I know what people are thinking about this episode. Hit the subscribe button if you want to hear. Like 50% of the people who listen to the episodes aren't subscribed, which makes no sense to me. So if you're listening to the entire podcast and not subscribing, please do that because that doesn't make a ton of sense. But whatever boats your float. If you have any questions or comments for the next episode, feel free to leave them in the comments below or Instagram DM. And just finally, thank you to our sponsors, EV Direct and Custom by Shara. Michael, thank you for appearing on the show. This is the 9th episode, closing out. Here, we're gonna snap at the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, that was perfectly synced. Nice.